Hello again. So I did a bunch of videos yesterday of creating this journal to this point. Today I want to show you a little bit that I did off camera last night when I couldn't film. I just tucked this patch into this front. I don't know if that's going to stay there, but I did also create this tag. So this was a whack and stack tag that I made. I don't know if I made this one on camera, but I did do a video of my whack and stack tags where I did 3 different papers and I made 3 tags by ripping them all exactly the same and then alternating the order of the tags. So they were wide. They were like double wide from these, and I ended up cutting them thinner for this book. So just another idea is to have a bunch of tags made up, just like what I would call undecorated. Like here's one that I've got decorated on the front and backed, but I just haven't cut around it yet to trim it out. So this one has a bit of pink on it, so it's sort of ready to go the next time I'm working with a journal that has pink accents. Here's a larger piece that I've just done on brown cardstock, and I've done diagonal stripes. That can be cut into like 3 or 4 small cards, or 2 really tall ones, or 4 long skinny ones. It's sort of just, you make up blanks, you cover all your packaging that comes into the house instead of just hoarding it, turn it into something. So this one was about this size, and I had to trim it. Now I did have it made with a border all the way around, you see here. And when I had to make it narrower, I had to cut the border off both sides. So I think this one came from here. Yeah, that was the card. You can see how it all matches up on the tearing. So I trimmed this off, trimmed the other side off, and turned this into a card for this front tuck spot, or pocket, I guess you would call this a pocket. And I put a fabric tab on the side so that if it doesn't get stuck in all the way, the fabric tab isn't going to hold it out and prevent this from closing. I had wanted to put one of these on the side, and I had it all ready and inked up, and then I realized it wasn't going to let the book close, so I had to switch to the fabric. But I like that look anyway. I love ticking stripe. So I just put family and fun and a straw hat with a butterfly and a bee up at the top. So I think that's a pretty good vacation thing. Usually when people, well, not everybody, but when people go on vacation, they often bring a good book with them. So it's a good idea to have a bookmark. And it can also just be used in this book to hold your place. You can take it out and use it in a different area, and like in a different book or something. I've got Hilda ready to go on this page, but I went ahead and did the rest of the Hildas because I didn't think you need to sit and watch me for an hour and a half doing all the Hildas. So I'll show you what I did with them. I backed them onto some brown cardstock. It's very thin cardstock or very thick paper. I believe I got this piece in a swap. I believe it's just white dollar store cardstock that's been coffee dyed. That's what I've kind of deduced. I've asked this in other videos, but I haven't received an answer as to from the person that gifted it to me in a swap of what it was, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So I backed, these are just thin paper, like they're just copy paper that I've printed out. So just to make it durable enough to be a tuck spot, oh, that's stuck in there. Just to make it durable enough to be a tuck spot, I've backed it onto this cardstock, and then I rounded just the one corner that's going to be open. To me, that is a telltale indication that that is a tuck spot. So I glued it down at the bottom and along the side. So I picked the red Canadian Tire Money for this one because of the red tones in the picture. And then in the center, there's 2 of them. So I did an up top tuck, which I generally don't do, but I thought it would make the page more interesting to have a top tuck and a bottom tuck. And I would like to find a blue piece of Canadian Tire money for here, but I think I only had the one. So I'll have to go through my pile again, because I think that would look a little better if it was blue. And then, oh, there's the one that I had. See, it does look good. This could also be green, I suppose, if I wanted to switch it. I've got more green ones. So if I put the blue one here with the Canadian Tire man sticking out. I don't know what his name is. I don't know if it says on here. President and Chief Executive Officer. It doesn't necessarily mean that's him. I don't know what his name is. If anybody knows what the Canadian Tire man's name is, let me know. I'm very curious. So then I think this would look good with the green. It does. It looks pretty good with the green, just as almost as good as it did with the blue, because that's kind of an aqua blue. And then in the back, I've got the one where she's heading for the picnic or whatever with the fishing pole and I put purple with that. These ones in here are kind of pinkish purple, pinkish purplish red. And then in the very back in this bungalow camps pocket, I have another tag that was done the same way with the whack and stack pieces. So this was from this one. So that was the width of it before, plus a border along this side. And I trimmed it down to fit in here. So it didn't bother me to alter these. That's, you know, kind of why I made them, is to have them ready to go. These ones I can turn into really thin bookmarks, or I can cut them in half and turn them into smaller tags. So I just keep these in a little basket by my desk. And as I need one, they're ready to go. And a whole stack of them here. Some of them are thicker, depending on what kind of cardstock I'm on. And some are stripes, some are random. I do a lot of stripes because I end up with a lot of strips. And then the diagonal one I showed you. I'll show you again I'm gonna do some more of this. This was my attempt at a log cabin quilt pattern. It's not perfect, but it's kind of what I did there. So that was a cereal box or something. You can tell by the color on the back. It's that grayish cardstock. So that's what I did off camera, just to kind of not take such a long video to finish up. And then today, oh, and I decided to use this number 3. What I really wanted to do is find out which cabin number they usually stayed in and include that number in somewhere. I haven't had any luck getting Diana to answer my messenger messages. I may just have to call them. But anyway, I thought I would do this one while you watch. This is the last one left to do. And then I've got to figure out if I'm going to use these dictionary pages or not. I had them set aside to use, and I haven't found a way to use them yet. So just got to see where I could do some collaging and go from there. So what I did on the Hildas was I inked around the edges. I just left the edges square. I was gonna trim them further and make the edges jagged, but I thought, no, I'll just make these little tuck spots. It doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be a collage. Especially, I think, in a man's journal. I don't know, I think men can appreciate art, certainly, but we don't need it all so fussy, right? Quite often. Depends on the man. So that just accentuates her a little bit, makes her look vintage, which I'm not sure when she was popular, but I think it was maybe in the 70s. I would sure like to find some Hilda ephemera, some actual prints from back when she was popular. That will be on my wish list in the Facebook groups this month. In some of the junk journaling Facebook groups, we do like a wish list once a month where you're allowed to make usually it's 3 wishes. One of the groups says you can do up to 10 wishes, but I like the idea of 3 wishes. So if you have what the person's wishing for and you want to share, you can send them something for free and someone else will grant your wish. So I've had some really good luck getting things I'm looking for that way. And one of the things that I posted on there or wished for, I think it was last month, was I wished for gingham with chicken scratch. And not one person granted my wish, but also nobody asked me what I meant. And that surprised me. I thought that somebody somewhere would have said, what is chicken scratch? So if you know what chicken scratch is, say so in the comments and let us know what chicken scratch is. I know, of course, because I wanted it. I do want it. I think I may even have some somewhere. But nobody even asked what it was, which surprised me because a lot of the groups that I'm in are like a lot of newbies, and that's what they're there for, is to ask questions, right? So I don't know why nobody's asked me that. I don't imagine that everybody knows what it is. It's just not a very common thing. Some of my aunts and cousins in West Virginia might know. So she goes in the bottom corner on this one, I think. And she's right on the back side of the pocket page. And then that will go in there. So that's a perfect match. Really like that. And then my next thing is to figure out how to use these dictionary pages. So what I could do is, depending on what the word was, I could just put them on the pages, just in the bottom corner or something as a little cluster. I also dug out my cluster book. That was where I got this embellishment. More Life, Less Rush was just in my cluster book. So I'll show you that too while we're at it. I've got a video on this cluster book. This is just a notebook that I bought at, I think, Giant Tiger. It's by Creative Colors, Bristol, Pennsylvania, from 2020, made in India. But I just like the arrow motif. And so what I did was I turned it into a book just to make my clusters in. So I used paper bag as the base layer. In fact, I've got some started in the back of the book where all I've got done so far is put down the paper bag. So I can show you that first step. So I just randomly rip up paper bag and just with a tiny dot of glue, not tiny, but just a little swipe of the glue stick. In fact, you know what I have now? I noticed one of the glue sticks that I have is repositionable glue stick, and that's what I may switch to so that these are easier to remove from the page. But the idea was that to get these off the page is not that hard because it's thicker paper. It's not likely to rip this. It might rip the page it's on, but I've dealt with that as well. So I've got a few pages of those prepped. I've got a few pages prepped with book page on top. A few page where I've done the third step with the music. And then this one has another little, these are torn up Government of Canada checks in the background. And so these ones you still have the check showing, but I will eventually be covering, you know, most of that too. But that has some pretty little maple leaves and pretty watery colors in the background. So I figure, you know, why not? Free paper. And then here I've got some torn up bingo cards. This one was torn, so I just tore it up and used it. Got quite a stack of those. And then here's some that are mostly done. I could still add a few more elements to them, but you can see the paper bag in the background all the time. So I picked that one out of here. I was thinking I would maybe use another one somewhere, and that's maybe what I can do with some of these definitions, is cut it out and highlight it with some ink and add it to a cluster, just to make it, like, I wouldn't mind having the Canada showing and having the, for this journal, because it is a Canada vacation journal. So what was the word that I was doing this for? I pulled out certain words. So this is French to English. So it's, you have to read through the English, well, I have to read through the English side to see which word it was that I had saved this for. I may have had something to do with probably travel. Outside, out of doors could be the one. Tear ruler. So it's this word. Maybe I shouldn't tear it so close. Yeah, I shouldn't have. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and, I think I decided on this page I'm going to do it in green because of the green theme that's here. And I've got my makeup brush inkers, and I just dab it on a piece of paper first, like off to the side, so that it doesn't make a dark mark. And I just want to kind of highlight that in the green. Make sure I'm in camera. And then I'll take this one that has clearly got Canada showing, and I'll put this down here. Just tear this bottom edge, and I'll ink this. It already has book page on it, but that's okay. I'm going to ink this whole cluster. I'm just going to decide if I want it this big. Maybe I will cut it off like here, make it not quite so big. But you see, I tore that out of this book, and all I've got left is a tiny little blemish on the page. You can see where the glue stick was. But that glue stick doesn't hold very great for forever on stuff like that. So this can become another cluster, maybe get glued right back into the book, or I might use it here today. But I'm going to I'll tear this top edge too. But you see, basically the work of making the cluster is already done, and that's something you can do in front of the television. You do not have to think about it very much. Once you get going at it, you realize that you don't have to fuss. You get in kind of a rhythm of, you know, how the shape and sizes of the pages should be. And so that, and then I'll glue this on top of that. Maybe something like that. I gotta watch my width. I can cover the music up a little bit, or I can cover the book page up a little bit. Don't really need to see it. So that looks good because of the greens, and it goes with this page, and it shows the Canada, and it's highlighting outside, out of doors, outside, abroad. So that's kind of cool, I think. So I'll just give that a good bit of glue stick. I'm gonna have to slip into my office and grab another. And then I'm gonna glue the whole thing down with tacky glue. And I think I will leave it as a tuck spot, even though he may not realize it's a tuck spot unless I tuck something in it. So I'll glue it just up at the top. Something like that. down this side. So put that pretty close to the top of the page. And I could put another piece of green or a piece of brown maybe would look good in there. He's gonna find this funny that I'm giving him all this Canadian Tire money. So that is a way to use your cluster book. And it's a good way to use these words out of the dictionary. So let's see what other word I have here. And I could maybe go back and find something else to tuck in there. I have things like this little matchbook notebook. Maybe I'll put that into the next one. Let's see what else we've got here for words. I should have done my, put one on this page maybe. I don't want to do the red though. I didn't really like the way the red looked. Although it might be good here. It does look good there. So I'll grab my red again. I think I put my red makeup brush back, so I'll try it again. It's just one that I've done pinks and reds with. I don't have enough to have one for every color ink that I have, so I just have them in kind of color families right now. So this was, let's see here, holiday. Leave, holiday, permission, discharge, warning, donner, give notice, congé is the French word, be on holiday. So I want to highlight that word. With red. And then I'll tear it out. And I like using these Canada ones. I didn't even think when I was making them that this would be what I'd use them for, but here's another Canada one. Just tear it out of the book. And again, it just left a little, you know, torn section on the page, but I'm just going to glue another one right down on there. And I think I'll also make this one a little smaller. It's a good width. But I want that Canada part. And then I'm just gonna, well, that tears too straight for my liking, so I'll do that. Like that. I'm glad I figured out a way to use these, because I was yesterday afternoon when I kept staring at them, I'm thinking, oh, where am I going to put those? Where am I going to put those? But I think this will work well. I think maybe it's time to do some more clusters. I haven't used very many of them, but you know, you get different ideas and different pieces of paper that you want to use up. It's a great way to use up your scrap bin. So I'll put this like that, or I could even do it this way. And put it up in the top corner. Maybe down like that. Cover up the A that's torn off. And just come down a bit. I don't mind that it sticks down, but if I'm going to make it a tuck spot, I wouldn't want it sticking down. I'd want it sticking up. So I'm going to glue that onto the existing cluster. About there. I do want to see that there's book page behind it, but I don't care about being able to read it. I don't really want to be able to read it. gonna have to slip in and grab another glue stick. Maybe I can get through this video. And then I'll glue across the top and down the side. Across the top and down the side. And then that'll be another place that I can tuck something. Maybe find some interesting tea bags for him too. I put strawberry tea bags in Diana's journal. Maybe I could find something butter tart flavored, because they're butter tart fanatics too. But I could tuck this up in here, you see, even though that's pretty thick. It's got like a thick end on it. I'm gonna leave that out for now because I want to decorate it anyway. But yeah, that with the red probably should just be one of these for now, just so I don't forget it's a tuck spot. You just don't want to get it up into the glue. I had that other one stuck in. And then what other page would we wouldn't want one there, of course. I've got, how many more words have I got? So here I have boatman and boat and pool. And up here, boat, barge. That must be what I had it for. So let's decide what color we want to do. And maybe I'll do this one next. So, of course, boat, and that should be probably done in blue. I could do blue on this one. Maybe do isn't there another one up here further? Boat, barge. Whale. Yeah, I think that's it on that page. So actually, the boat one probably should have went where she's doing the splits. And then I think of it. This one. Did I put there? Vacation? Holiday, yeah. That's too late to change that, I think. See what other cluster I could use. Something with aqua maybe to really coordinate with the blues in that little Hilda. See, there's just a page where I broke from my plan and did a collage. I was trying to do something other than a beige collage. A couple of them. Break the routine would be good. Never stop exploring would be good. Oh, here's some. Enjoy it all. Be grateful. Live in the moment. See, I do, 6 at a time in all one theme. Depending on what paper's in front of me at the moment. You are the best thing. Fortune favors the brave. But I could cover that with this, right? So I think maybe this one is nice. And I might just do something different on the edging of it. But you see that Comes off not too bad. And like if I switch to my repositionable glue stick when I'm doing it, it would be even better. Eventually these pages will be too torn up to add to again, but I could also just glue a piece of something over top of them to reinforce them, as long as they're not coming out by the spirals. So if I put the word boatman, take the battalion out of there. I don't really want to focus on something war related. Boatman, and building, trade, ship. So I'll keep that in there. And so that's a good thing that you can also do, is go through your dictionaries that you're saving and just pull out words that you think you might use. You are your best thing. I could salvage that possibly for use on another snippet. And then decide this can go down here sideways with boatman across here, maybe something like that. Or keep it like that and just do it sideways, because I don't really need the whole thing. I could go like this at the bottom. He probably doesn't need this frilly stuff. So I'll use my ripple scissors and I'll just sort of cut it in half, and then I'll cut this edge clip that off. This is fairly thick paper, not quite cardstock, but it's fairly thick, so it'll make a good tuck spot. I'll put the boat thing right in the middle there. I want it a little smaller than the Hilda thing, because I think she's the main event here. She's the star of the show. And then of course I'm going to glue along the bottom and the side. So the idea here is that you'll write up here, maybe a list, or talk about your day, what you did that day. And then if you have a receipt or something from the day, you can tuck it in this little tuck spot. I'm just going to put things in the tuck spot as little gifts and stuff that they can take out and replace with, you know, if they get what it's for, then they'll replace it with their own use. So I don't know yet what I'll put in there. It's kind of a small one, so it might just be something small. I have small tags I can put in. So I still have that boat, but what other words did I have set aside here? Luggage. I think that was it. So I might not need that one, although I do have a luggage sticker that I could put that with. And this one. I should have put post-it notes. Harbor. Seaport, that must have been it. Oh, and then I got Canada provinces. This might not be current. That says it's from an old book. Earl would likely know. Anyway, I think, let me see, how many have I got in here? One, I'm gonna do at least 3. 2. 3. I think I'm gonna leave it at that for those and get on to our closure. And actually I showed this to Brian and he thinks it would be better just to have it where you wrap the cord around, one cord one way and one cord the other way, and then you just tie it up. And I think he might be right. For a man's journal, that might be just the simplest way, because I've left the cords long enough. So what I'll do then is use the maple leaf on one end. And all I'm going to do is put it through, and then I'm going to tie a knot so that it can't slide off. And certainly if anyone could figure out how to attach this on, it would be me. I am a jewelry designer too. I could certainly do it in a more technical way, but I want to keep it simple. And then the other one, I'll put one of the bee charms. So I'm just going to make the end really skinny so I can get it through the whole of the charm. That should do it. Grab a bee. Bees are significant because Ernie's mom was a barn house, and my mom was a barn house. That's how we're cousins. Sorry, Diana's mom, Ernie, was a barn house. And so we have a group on Facebook called the Barn House Bees. And we're all kind of a little bee crazy, so that's why the bee. And that's why I use the bee on this tag at the front too. So Burl is a member by marriage of the Barn House Bees. So that goes around that way. This goes around, so that goes left to right. And this one goes right to left. Actually, this one should be the one that goes furthest. And this one goes around this way. I mean, he'll figure it out. He'll get in a groove of how he ties it. And then he can do a knot or a bow to tie it up closed. So I think that is just about done. So the next video, I'll just do a flip through of it as a final video in this series, and any other changes. Like I haven't inked around the edges here, and I don't know that I will. I kind of like the way that it looks right now, and I don't want to go too far, you know what I mean? So Burl, I hope you like it. I hope you've enjoyed watching it be made. I hope you've followed through the whole series to see my plans and then how it turned out and all of that. So I think you'll find it fascinating, so I hope you do. Anyway, thanks for watching this morning. Like, comment, share, subscribe, but most of all, have a great day, as usual.